Hey everyone, welcome to the Do Theory. Today we're going to be talking about the conventional current flow and the electron current flow, how they relate to each other, and which one you should be using. Coming right up. The behavior of water and electricity has been compared to each other for centuries, dating all the way back to Benjamin Franklin, who is commonly known to have discovered this relationship back in 1752. He realized that just like water, electricity wants to travel in a path with as little resistance as possible. It's important to note that electricity only moves like water. It doesn't behave like water. For example, imagine you're washing your hands with soap and water. The water comes out of the nozzle, hits your hands, and takes the soap with it as it goes down the drain. Now replace it with electricity. The electricity will hit your hand, leave the soap alone, pass through your body, and straight to the ground. So Benjamin Franklin was only using the analogy of water to describe how electricity moves. But knowing this relationship was one thing. We needed to have a system down in order to describe the behavior of electricity and how it flowed. For this reason, Benjamin Franklin tapped into his knowledge and background in business and banking. He determined that the words positive and negative, commonly used within finances, was sufficient enough to characterize electricity. He knew electricity was some form of material traveling through objects. So he used the word positive to classify the abundant nature that electricity had. The term negative is used to indicate that a person is in need of money. So the money, or electricity in this case, is transferred from the positive account to balance off the negative account until there was nothing left to transfer. Once Benjamin Franklin made his discovery known, scientists around the world grabbed a hold of it and made a universal system centered around it. This new system was now being used almost worldwide, and was so efficient that it led to 145 years of technological advancements. This is the time period where the automobile, long-distance communication, and other inventions were all created and discovered. The world was booming with new technologies, and was still growing at a rapid speed. Among these new inventions was a device called the cathode ray tube, invented by Carl Ferdinand Braun, created to shoot charged electrodes through a beam to create an image on an old television or an old monitor. This invention led another scientist by the name of J.J. Thompson in the year of 1897 to discover a tiny little particle called the electron. He discovered that electricity was the movement of electrons, and that they always had a negative charge to go with them. This meant that Benjamin Franklin's theory that electricity moved from positive to negative was actually backwards. In reality, electricity actually moved from negative to positive. Does this mean that Benjamin Franklin was wrong? Not really. Now, he was wrong on which way the electricity flowed, but he was not wrong on the idea or theory of what electricity was. He knew that electricity was a material as previously mentioned, but just like a true and false question, he understood the question, filled in the wrong circle. Because of J.J. Thompson, scientists around the world now knew that there was a problem that the entire scientific world was using. So how does one fix something that millions of people are using? One option could be to force every company in the world to spend thousands, if not millions of dollars to change all their schematics and circuit diagrams to accommodate to this simple scientific discovery. Well, let's take a look at that. Let's imagine from a businessman's perspective what they would say if they were told to fix this mistake. You want me to fix something that's your problem? No. The scientists knew that it wouldn't work, so the alternative that they chose was to give both discoveries a name of its own. Benjamin Franklin's idea that electricity moved from positive to negative was given the name the conventional current flow to indicate that the majority of the world was commonly using it. And J.J. Thompson's idea that electricity moved from negative to positive was given the name the electron current flow to accommodate more to the scientific discovery and evidence which was provided. Ever since these two titles were created, a scientific debate has been happening on who's right and who's wrong, which is a valid question. Why did something work for 145 years and it be wrong? That takes us back to what we said earlier, that it was the labeling system that was wrong and not the concept. For example, imagine you go to Starbucks and you order a Frappuccino. They make the drink, But for some odd reason, they label the drink coffee black, no sugar, and then hands it out to you. You take a sip without seeing the mislabel, and you taste the savory sensation of a frappuccino. Are you gonna make a fuss once you see the mislabel? Well, if you're smart, or if you're in a hurry, no. You got what you wanted, so why make a big fuss about it? That's how these two concepts between Benjamin Franklin and J.J. Thompson works. They have two different labeling systems, but they work towards the same goal. You can use either the conventional current flow or the electron current flow as long as you don't mix the two. If you do mix the two, you will either cause your circuit to get a short or to fail a proof check and just go poof, and your device goes up in smoke. If both systems work towards the same goal, what's the big deal? Well, let's imagine this. Imagine we make a replacement part for a machine that uses the conventional current flow, but our design is for the electron current flow. The buyer then buys our component, pops it into their machine, turns it on, and now they're sending negative electricity through the wrong port in our component. And without any safety measures in place, that can cause damage not only to our component, which we will have to replace as a company, but it can also cause damage to their machines, which we may be obligated to also have to pay for. Companies do not like such a scenario, and we can pretty much guarantee that somebody's going to lose a job. So then the question you should be asking, which system should you be using? It's a fact that the most popular one is Benjamin Franklin's theory. Most industries and companies are using this as a default to this day. So if you're not certain on which one to use in the workplace, ask your boss. And if you can't ask anybody, use the conventional current flow until you can ask somebody who can properly answer your question. At least then, you have some evidence that you're doing something for your job. And if you're doing it for a personal project, you can use either system you want, as long as you don't mix the two. Once the mixture happens, things will go wrong. So stick to one or the other, and you'll be just fine. And with that, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to be alerted for future videos. I'll see you next time on A Do Theory.